Good morning and welcome to the Meet Your Future Construction and Green Economy 2025 webinar. I'm Ailish Peters, part of the Education Work and Skills team at Greater Manchester Combined Authority. For those who have joined us before, you might be aware that Meet Your Future launched in 2019 by Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester, to give young people like you the chance to meet real employers and explore different career paths. We have developed a suite of information, resources and services that are there to help you, and this can be found on GMAX. I've popped the link to the GMAX in the chat, which many of you will already be familiar with, and please speak to your teacher to find out more. We really hope this session inspires you and helps you feel more confident about your future in Greater Manchester. In today's session, you'll be hearing from Dawn and Liz from Murphy. Please make use of the question box for any questions or thoughts you might have throughout the session. You will see this on the right-hand side of the screen, and we will be publishing any questions that come through. Please ask your teacher to put any questions you have into this box, and don't be shy. We'll cover these in the Q&A section at the end. If you would like to use the captions or subtitles during the event, please select captions/subtitles on in your video controls. So now I've got the pleasure of handing over to Dawn and Liz. Thank you, and over to you both.
Thank you very much, Eilish. Good morning, everybody. My name's Dawn Moore. I'm the Group People Director for Murphy. I'm going to start off telling you a little bit about who we are and the sector that we operate in before handing over to Liz a little bit later, who will talk about some of the fantastic opportunities that we have, not only for young people within our own business, but also opportunities that you can find across the sector as a whole. If you move on to the next slide, please, Liz. Okay, so Murphy is a business, we started in 1951 and we operate in the construction and civil engineering sector. Now, for any of you that have done any research into the construction sector, you will see that it is particularly vast. It covers a number of types of buildings, a number of different pieces of infrastructure, and a number of different sectors, which are the different parts of our work that make up the projects that we deliver. The slide you can see here is a really important one for our business. It talks a little bit about our purpose, which is to improve life by delivering world-class infrastructure. And one of the most important ways we do that is by offering not just jobs, but long-term careers. And there's an important piece of our puzzle which relates to everybody who's watching this today, which sits in the middle of this slide, which is something called our people and social value strategy. And this is where our opportunities that you're going to hear about today for emerging talent really play a pivotal part in enabling us to deliver our purpose. Next slide, please, Liz. Okay, I talked about briefly at the start that we operate in a number of different ways and a number of different sectors, as we call them. What I mean by sectors are the different types of civil engineering that our roles cover, and where people like yourselves can uncover opportunities not only in our business but in the wider sector as a whole. We operate in things that you probably touch every single day, whether that's going to school, whether that's going to work, whether that's going to college, or even sometimes when you're just at home without even realising it. That includes the work we do in things like the transportation sector, which includes rail. That includes things like the power sector, which covers an awful lot of energy work. It covers the water sector, where we support not only the delivery of water, but also the building and maintenance of things like wastewater treatment plants, and also natural resources, which if you look on our website, which is www.murphygroup.com, covers a vast array of additional work. Next slide, please, Liz. And I think probably the important thing to note before I hand over to Liz is, as well as telling you that our sector is vast and covers a wide variety of opportunities, as an employer, our emerging talent opportunities, which start for young people at 14 years old and carry on through to age 25, have been recognised externally in a number of ways as offering, as I mentioned at the start, not only jobs and opportunities, but also quality long-term careers. And it's on that note that I'm delighted to hand over to my colleague Liz to tell you a little bit more about what some of those opportunities actually are, and more importantly, how you can access them. Thank you very much, Liz. Over to you.
Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, very, very pleased to be able to talk you through, I suppose, what emerging talent means to Murphy and what it can mean for you in your future career steps. So very sort of excited to walk you through all the different routes that you can sort of take your career in when you leave education at whatever point that is. So what you're seeing on the screen here is sort of a wealth of apprenticeship offerings that there are. So Murphy recruits apprentices across level 2 right up to level 7 standards, and that's 40 different types of apprenticeship standards currently that we have in use. So we do have apprentices join us at a level 2, and as you can see on the screen here, I won't go through all of it, but what we're kind of putting together for you here is a picture of how you can continue to develop through various apprenticeship levels right up until the point of obtaining a degree should you wish to. But it also shows how you can study toward one apprenticeship, and depending on where your career then goes, you could always sort of take the next step into something completely different if it was the choice that you wanted to make. So many of our apprentices do start level 2 apprenticeship or a level 3 or a level 4 and progress through with further higher level apprenticeships as well. And just to build on that, so there's many different routes you can take in your career, and so we've outlined a few of those different pathways. You know, it isn't just a case of you finish education and you can go to university. There are so many different options that ultimately may all lead to the same result. So it may be that you join an apprenticeship level 2 to 3 out of your sort of school or A levels, and you can then work your way up through to a level 4 and then undertake a degree apprenticeship, then therefore obtaining a degree. It may be that you choose to do a T-level placement route, which also is sort of that pipeline to get onto a degree apprenticeship and therefore obtain your degree. And it may be that you take the route of going to university following your A-levels or college study. And what we are really proud of Murphy is those different programs that we're introducing, one of which being our sponsored placement program, where we offer university students the ability to undertake lots of different work experience during their degree, right up until obviously they obtain their degree and then join our Murphy graduate program. So 3 very different routes there, really fantastic routes that all provide a lot of experience, the opportunity to earn whilst you learn as well, and gain that industry experience alongside educational study as well. So one thing we did want to cover today as well is a little bit around, you may have decided which route you would like to take, you may not have, but generally there are some good sort of best practice things that we would always advise when it comes to applying for a job. So first and foremost, create your CV, and there's plenty of templates online that you can use, and I'd always advise getting a friend or family member to review that for you. Make sure you spell check it and make sure you talk about all your fantastic achievements, your interests, your hobbies, things that you feel really demonstrate all the skills that you have, whether that be team working or communication skills. And the second one would be in readiness for an interview, maybe practice some examples ahead of that interview. So that might be focusing on your skills again, such as team working, communication, problem solving skills and time management. And say you are then successful in getting an interview as well. Another thing to bear in mind would be for an interview, just remember to arrive early, plan your journey. And if it's virtual, similarly, you'll make sure you've got a nice, quiet, private space to do the interview, and check the internet connection, microphone and camera beforehand to make sure it's all working. Updates when you're in a recruitment process and you've applied for a role can come in many different ways. So it may be that you are called to your mobile, it may be that people use WhatsApp, it also can be via email. So one tip that we would always say is make sure that you're always checking your email, and that includes your junk spam folder, to make sure any updates you're getting those as well. So do check that regularly so you don't miss anything. Another one would be most companies have websites with lots and lots of information on, and that includes Murphy. We have a fantastic website with so much information on around who we are, our values, our culture, our projects, and some of our achievements as well. So what we would always advise is have a look of a company's sort of web page and website, and make sure that you're really understanding what it is that they do. And a key tip here would be to look at their values and really think, do any of these values resonate with me? Am I really connecting with some of the values? Because that's how you'll know that it's going to be a sort of a cultural match for you in your career. And finally, prepare some questions for the interview. You are absolutely welcome to ask that interviewer some questions about the company or the job in particular, or it may be that you've got some questions for them in terms of their career and their journey. And all that will do is just show how engaged you are and how curious you are and eager to learn. So those are some of our tips. We do have applications that go live each year for our apprenticeships. That tends to be around sort of October, November time. So we do recruit apprentices every year. And so if you are interested, obviously, please do look at our website for any updates on there. I'm going to introduce Mia and Guy now. Mia is one of our T-level students who is undertaking a placement at Murphy, and also obviously attends college, Trafford and Stockport College, and we have Guy from the college as well, who are here to do a bit of a talk through of slides from Guy and then any sort of questions. So if I can hand over to Guy, if that's okay.
Thank you, Liz. Just to let you know, I can't see the slides, so I'll just be using my local ones here. So my name's Guy Warsick. I am from Trafford and Stockport College Group, and I look after T-level industry placements. This is one of a number of courses we have at the college. We also do normal BTECs, and we do A-levels as well, and we're across 5 different sites. So that's Cheadle, Marple, Altrincham, Stretford and Stockport. So what is it that a T-level, what makes a T-level different from any other qualification? Basically, it's the idea of giving you an industry placement at the same time as doing your course, so that when you're in the classroom, everything you're learning can then be put into practice. So you'll spend 80% of your time in the classroom and 20% out on a work placement. And the work placement needs to last for 45 days, which is 315 hours as a minimum. You can go longer than that, should you so wish. Our delivery model is for 1 to 2 days a week. At the moment, Mia is going out on a Thursday and a Friday. She's working with Murphy on the Greek Street roundabout replacement here in the heart of Stockport, just by Stockport Station. And in her holidays, she's able to do block weeks. Now, obviously, when she's out on placement, if she's doing block weeks, she'll be able to see the team every single day and see the project kind of move a bit more slowly rather than going in there and it's moved on every time. And they can also, students can get involved in employer-led projects as well. And it's basically a try before you buy, as we like to call it. So the way we look at it is it's a 45-day long job interview as opposed to a 45-minute one, which most people get. Could I get the next slide, please? I'm going on to what works well. Industry placements are longer than the normal work experience. Normally you'd get kind of like 1 to 2 weeks of work experience, but this way it has incentives for the employer as well. It's a potential upskilling for staff to be able to mentor students. We set clear expectations for our students before they go out on placement, to say that this is what we expect from you and this is what the employer expects from you as well. And we also send out a scheme of learning to all our employers that are taking students out on work placement. So what that means is they can see on any given date exactly what the student has learnt that week. or is about to learn the next week, and hopefully they'll be able to give some live examples, some real world examples of exactly what they're working on, so they can then go back into the classroom and tell all their friends. The final slide here is essentially what T-level. So the T-level was designed with employers, and we wanted to make sure that when students are finishing these courses, that they're ready to go out into the world of industry. And so we have a number of vocational or technical qualifications which are outlined here across our various sites, everything from education early years to accountancy, cyber security, and you can do laboratory science. There's any number of qualifications that we do here, all of which are available on our website. And that's it from my slides.
Thank you, Guy. And we do have Mia on the call as well. So a couple of questions from me, so probably for both of you. But Guy, what would you say are sort of the main benefits of doing a T-level route?
I think because of the industry placement, the fact is that you're going to be embedded with an employer for a number of weeks, which gives them an idea of whether they might like to employ you at the end. That's kind of the dream ticket for us. You know, the try before you buy. It's filling your skills gap, and it's helping us to become hopefully the talent pipeline for the future. So we can work with you. We can send our students over to you. From a student's perspective, it's as much about finding out what they do want to do as what they don't want to do. So the majority of placements, they get to see a number of different areas in the business, and it's just as important to find out what you don't want to do as what you do want to do when you move into the next stage of your career, whether that might be going to university to do a degree apprenticeship or potentially going straight into the world of work. But that should help narrow it down anyway, and also puts you in front of an employer, so you're in the shop window when they come to thinking about vacancies.
Yeah, thank you, Guy. And we have Mia as well. So Mia, would you mind just introducing yourself, please, and letting us know what you're studying and what project you're currently on?
Hi, I'm Mia. I'm a T-level student at Stockport College. I'm studying a T-level in design, surveying and planning in construction.
Thanks, Mia. And what are you enjoying about it so far, and what's maybe surprised you?
Well, the main thing that surprised me is it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. Harder, and it's quite a lot of the work. There's a lot of work, and it's very detailed in the construction industry. We learn a lot more about regulations and stuff that we have to know for the future in our construction industry job that we want to do. Whereas with A levels, you kind of just learn about like maths and physics and art. You don't learn about some regulations and legislations and stuff that you have to know, and we don't learn about the documents we need to know and bring into consideration in the job. So it's kind of more detailed in the construction industry, which I think gives you a bit of a heads up when you go to university, as it's not like a huge surprise about everything that you need to know.
Yeah, thank you, Mia. And what kind of support do you get whilst you're doing your T-level sort of route from both the college and also from Murphy?
Well, I decided to do civil engineering. That's kind of the main thing that I'm interested in, which is probably why I chose to do Murphy's, because there's tons of engineers and civil engineers there. So I got put in the engineers part for the roundabout. So there's quite a few of them that are all teaching me like stuff that they find easier and stuff that obviously they like and dislike, and the quicker ways of doing stuff. And they teach me kind of a more practical side to engineering, as well as obviously on a computer. And then at the college you also get tons of support, because there's obviously quite a few teachers there, and my core tutor George is very nice. He's always asking questions and making sure everyone's work placement is going smoothly, as well as Guy. He comes in and he does some questions and finds out how everything's going, and if there's any problems or there's any days we need off or any days we want to add, he's always there to help as well.
Thanks, Mia. And last question from me, I promise. How did you find the transition from education into the kind of work environment?
Well, it was a lot harder than expected, because it's a lot more work and it's longer hours. and sometimes it gets a bit tiring, but it's a lot more interesting and I enjoy it more because it shows you what it will be like in the future, and you get to see the practical side as well as, you know, the actual work behind it, and it's not just always going to be practical and it's not always going to be sitting at a desk. It's a good in between, and it shows you what you would like have to do in the future when you do become what you want to be. So
Thanks so much, Mia. Thank you. I'll hand back to Eilish if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. We've had a few questions come into the Q&A. So, Liz, I've got one for you. Someone has asked, how much do you get paid in the construction industry?
A great question. You can get paid very well in the construction industry, whether that be through the apprenticeship route or the sort of graduate route. We do pay very well and reward really fair. We also have some fantastic reward elements, not just pay related, but some of the great sort of incentives and reward as part of the overall packages. But whether you're a weekly member of staff or you're a monthly member of staff, we do very regular sort of pay reviews and activities. And Dawn, if there's anything that I've not covered there that you'd like to add, please do.
No, I think you summarised that very well, Lisa. I think probably the important thing to say is there is structured salary progression for all of our career routes, including emerging talent. And you know the more you put in, the more you're likely to see the reward that you have progress. So and I think very much as well, they're transferable skills. So I think that's an important thing to bear in mind as well.
Brilliant, thank you. And we've got just one more question for you both. Do you need licenses?
That presumably a driver's license.
I'm gonna assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is it depends on the role that you do for it, but for a lot of site-based roles, you know, the majority of construction companies will give you the relevant licenses you need, for example, to drive various pieces of plant like diggers, cranes, that sort of thing. So I'm assuming the question is about licenses in the broadest sense. It really depends on the role that you want to do. But certainly we support people to get all the relevant licenses to drive plant and equipment as and when they need them.
Oh, that's great. Thank you both. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Dawn, Liz, Guy and Mia for sharing your stories. And thank you to all of you for joining us. You should already have a session card to help you explore more about the construction and green economy sector. If not, please ask your teacher to share this with you. And I just want to mention as well that MBacc is your Greater Manchester Apprenticeship and Careers Service platform, where you can find out lots more about careers, apprenticeships and opportunities open to you. You'll find that there's a link to it in the chat actually. Many of you will already be using this, but please speak to your teachers to find out more. And for teachers, parents or carers joining us today, I've added a link in the Q&A to our feedback form. So please take a moment to complete this on behalf of your students and children. Your feedback is so important to us and on how we can improve sessions like this in the future. So thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning.